Greetings, fabulous friends. This is the Doctor of Energy back here to entertain you. But the main idea is not to entertain you, but to give you valuable information which will put energy into your life so that you can accomplish all those things you want to accomplish. It'll give you the creative power to move out and do those things which will make you happy and prosperous in your life. And we need to recognize what we have and begin to rejoice about that, and that will help us to see more. But did you ever stop and think about what you would do with $100 billion if you were able to invest properly and multiply your money up to where you had $100 billion? What would you be able to do with that, and what kind of power would that bring you? And if a person knows how to efficiently utilize that, he could buy a lot of power with $100 billion. But if you don't, it could end up just all slipping through your fingers. And even though you'd have a big time and for a while, temporarily, you'd gain a lot of wonderful enjoyment out of it, but it would all be temporarily, and it would slip through your fingers. But there is a power that we have within us, and once we gain that, that won't slip through our fingers, and it is far greater than $100 billion. And we need to stop and realize that we have this power, because to realize we have it puts us on the road to begin to be able to utilize it to bring great security and great prosperity and abundance into our lives. Now, what is this power that is greater than $100 billion to us? And that is our recognition and awareness of three words: who we are. Who are you? You need to recognize who you are in the eternal scheme of things. Who you are in God's eyes, in our who you are from divine source, our infinite mind, and the way you're viewed by infinite mind. Who you are and who you were when you came to this earth, and what you came here to do, and what has been given you when you came here, and the mission which you have. Recognize in those things. Recognize who you are in the area of, there's 5 areas you need to recognize who you are as an immortal being, and what the significance of being immortal is, and what you can what that implies to you as far as the power and the authority which you have to do all kinds of marvelous things, including manifesting all your desires. What does immortality have to do with it? And why do we need to realize in an absolute way, without a shadow of a doubt, that we have immortality? And then number 2 is to have the power and the wisdom to utilize our real dominion that which we've been given. Recognize that you've been given dominion. And 3, your power to heal. Healing. We have the power to heal ourselves, to receive healing for our own bodies, and we have the power to heal other people. You know, that right there, the power to heal, is more powerful than $100 billion, because you could not, certain diseases that people get, they could not buy a cure for it for $100 billion. But we have the power to heal that disease. And so in that one area, even in that one area, we have more power than $100 billion. And we need to recognize it. We need to recognize how much we have, because how often do we sit and we think, oh, if I only had $100 billion, but I don't have $100 billion, and so I just might as well forget having any power. You know, I might as well forget having all this authority and being able to really do things and be able to really succeed, because I won't never get the $100 billion, and I know what I could do with 100 billion, but I won't never get it. You don't feel like you can, you know, you probably could, but you don't feel like you can. And so you just miss that and just live in a limited sense. But instead of continuing to go over that about I'd like to have more money, and you need to go over what qualities that you do have that do have more power than that $100 billion has. And number 4 is the power to have quality of life, to live a long, healthy life with quality every day of your life, to not be sick, to not be ill a day in your life, to have that overcoming power, to just be walking on top of this world with everything underneath you, running and not be weary, and walking and not fainting, and mounting up on wings like an eagle, and to do that every day of your life, to have that power, that is more power than $100 billion can buy. And then there is our ability to transcend all of the things on this earth is a great power. And then there is that divine joy which is so far transcends any joy that the earth that is ever seen in an earthly way on this earth by anybody, and any kind of thing that money would buy. And we have that joy that goes way beyond anything that you would be ever imagine in the natural, or in the that you'd be able to think about if you're living in mortality, seeing only through your 5 senses. And so when you put all this together, knowing that we are immortal, knowing that we have the power and the wisdom to utilize our real dominion, knowing that we have real dominion and are able to utilize it, knowing that we have the power to heal, and knowing that we have the power of quality of life, and knowing that we have the power of a joy that is a million times greater than any joy that you've ever seen, knowing that we have these things brings so much power to our lives that once you have all these things operational, you would not even miss that $100 billion because you would know that whatever part of that $100 million, or more than that $100 million, or $1 trillion, or whatever it is that's necessary to accomplish your mission, whatever it is you need to gain, however many buildings you need to build, or however much travel you need to do it in the area of your mission, and however much you need to have to sustain yourself as security and quality of life, is all going to be there because of the great creativity and power which you have through being aware of these things. And so I say that because if you could just, first of all, you probably just really need to get it into your mind just how exciting $100 billion is. And I am all for $100 billion. I want to always have at least $100 billion. I don't have, I want to have that $100 billion too, as well as all these other things, I'm not saying don't have the $100 billion, but you might just need to stop and realize for a while just what all you can do with $100 billion and get excited about that. And then when you realize that this is far greater than all that excitement you've gotten over that $100 billion, if you could just stop and just say, I know I have that $100 billion right now. I have no doubt whatsoever it's there. And I'm just going to proceed to make my plans of how I'm going to spend that, and just get so excited about all of that, and really believe that you've got it, and gain that excitement, and then use that excitement to define what I'm talking about, and realize that this goes way, way, way beyond any kind of joy or excitement or power that you could gain from even $100 billion. And so it just shows you just how marvelous it really is. I'm just giving you an indication by giving you this illustration of how marvelous what we have, and knowing who we are and what we have in who we are really is. So we need to realize, but the operative point of all this is to be absolutely and unequivocally sure that 100% of all good and great substance is with you there now. Everything is with you there now. Everything. And we might as well go ahead and rejoice that we have everything. Whatever we can dream about, that we have it, go ahead and rejoice about it because you've got it. And as soon as you recognize who you really are, you will have it. So let us rejoice by choice. As I always say, make the choice to rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. That is now and forever your choice. To rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. It is now and forever your choice. And we make a choice to rejoice because we know that what we're rejoicing about is going to come true. But in the stillness of recognizing who you are will be your power and energy. That's where all your energy and your power is going to come from. Knowing who you are and knowing how much you are loved by God. You know, we cannot imagine how much we're really loved by God. It's a millions of times greater than any love that you've ever seen on the face of this earth. And we are inseparably in union with God. We are indestructible and inseparable and inseparable from God, our divine source. We're one with Him. His mind flows in us, and our mind flows in Him, and we're one and the same. And we have His qualities. All of His qualities has been placed in us. All that creative power and all that ability to gain the capacity to love, very deeply and very, very greatly, just like God loves. We won't love to the full extent that is our divine source God does, but we have the ability to start in that direction and begin gaining some of it because it is there. It is there and available. All of these qualities of God are there and available in an infinite supply. See, that's what's so wonderful. And that is what's so exciting, is that they're all available in an infinite supply. And it's not that they're not available in an infinite supply, or that we're going to come to a point where we can't get any more. All it is that we come to a point where we stop being willing to receive more because we stop being willing to be receptive. And we stop doing what we were doing. We start doing these exercises of realizing who we are, and then we gain a certain amount of power and energy, but then we stop at a certain point. And so we say, well, maybe I can't get any more because after all, God is infinite and all these qualities are infinite. But maybe that is more than I'll ever be able to receive, and so we stop there. But actually, potentially, it is all infinite and never knows no end. The only end it knows is when we decide that we've had all that we're willing to receive. So these are such wonderful things. We have all the energy and are one with all energy, inseparable from all energy. There's an infinite amount of energy. There's an infinite amount of creative power. And if we keep taking those steps one after other toward that, it'll end only with infinity. And of course, that'll take years and years to get to infinity. We won't ever get to infinity, but we always have that next step of more energy and more power and more creative power. You never get to the end of how much creative power you can have or how much energy you can have. There's always going to be a little more energy, a little more creative power, a little more intelligence, a little more power in every way, a little more healing power, a little bit more abundance power, always be more. And that's what's so wonderful about the whole thing. And that's what I'm so thankful for. And I want you to be thankful for it too. And you have a good afternoon. And I'll talk to you later this evening.